It is December 17th, 2020 TI. I'm Commander JN Trax, and this is Loose Screws. And let me tell you, Christmas starts to get different when your kid starts to read. This is what I discovered this week. Anyway, as I say, I'm Commander JN Trax, and tonight I have my crew with me. Commander Chig is here.
Hi, how are you?
I'm all right. Nurgle is here.
Greetings and salutations.
And Commander Lieutenant Commander Data is here.
Hello, everyone. Happy holidays.
Always say the whole thing. Always say the whole thing.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, I think it's fine. So...
This is fine. This is fine.
This is fine.
All is well.
Guys, it's been a big week, but before we touch on all that, let's waste some time. How has your weeks been? Let's start with Chig.
Well, I don't know. Considering, that half the country is in lockdown again and stuff, business is slow as shit. So I've been working like half days and still working 7 days a week, but just working less hours. So that means I've been playing a lot more of the video games in game, with the we'll mention the pulse wave being fixed later, I'm sure. And
spoilers.
So I've been doing some mining again and playing some CQC, and then we still have this 7 Days to Die thing that has swept the Discord a little bit. So me, Dubs, Data, Hate, Aruja, my daughter, Dubs' wife Tasha. He murdered me of that fame.
On your anniversary, nearly.
We've been playing that. Tesnik, can't forget Tesnik. So we've
even though you almost did.
Yeah, almost. We've been playing that, and if you think Elite Dangerous is buggy, you should really try it. Right?
Well, isn't that game pre-release?
Yeah, but it's older than Elite Dangerous.
Still in alpha.
It's been in pre-release since 2013. And still, just lots of little bugs, but it's still just stupid fun, and we've been having fun with that. And I've been recording that to YouTube, so that's been fun. And then We've got our D&D group that we're getting together again on Saturday to do. So yeah, a lot of gaming going on.
Cool. What's been up with you this week, Nurgle?
Well, professionally, last week I went through a certification course and kind of wondered why they sent me to get certified. And this week I found out, oh, by the way, we have this backlog of 45 things that we need a certified person to inspect. So, it's been that. On the home front, Monday was my 28th wedding anniversary, which makes my marriage almost as old as Dubs.
Congratulations on being almost as old as Dubs.
So I guess, not only can I call Dubs Junior, but I guess that makes him, eligible to be my wife and I's love child or some,
Is that how love childs work?
It's revealed.
I'm not sure I'm going to claim him, so.
Like on your taxes?
No, unfortunately,
I wouldn't do that
too
either.
old to be claimed on taxes.
Hey, I'm glad we take volunteers from the Discord that will let me claim them on my taxes. I'll take tax claims everywhere.
Yeah.
Jeez. DM me now.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it's been a busy week at work and a good week at home. So pretty good.
Good. How you been, Data?
Been doing well. It's the slow time of year these last few weeks for me at work. So on tonight's episode of This Old House, I've been working on the garage. So I'm getting it cleaned out, getting it usable. That's been my evening time adventures for the past many days.
How very,
You've
very
done your
exciting.
laundry room. I think I might be doing mine now. The dryer died the other day, so I had to go up
Ooh.
to Home Depot
Ouch.
and order a new washer and dryer. And the dryer is the one that died, but honestly, the washer and dryer are like, I don't know how old they are. I've replaced the clutch on the washer twice myself. So we decided just to get a new washer and dryer. I know I'm interrupting on Data's time here, but I'm going with it.
No. If you need any tips on laundry room renos,
Apparently, you missed important details.
Went up to Home Depot to look at washers and dryers, blah blah blah, and then I'm like, well, when's the soonest we could have it? Well, if you get them as a pair, middle of January, it looks like. But if you order them separate, it looks like the dryer could be here next week, and then the washer the first week of January. I'm like, okay, does that cost any more? Nope. Okay, well, I'll order it that way. So the dryer is coming Monday, and then the wash machine is coming first week of January. So yeah, just thought I'd share that. Just thought that was weird.
That salesperson sounds like the doctor from Arrested Development that says things the wrong way. He says, "Oh, your father's going to be all right." Oh, good. No, he lost his left hand. He's going to be all right. Oh, why would you say it like that? Why would you say it that way?
And attention, Home Depot, we will be expecting to monetize that plug.
Very well, very well.
All right. Anything else, Data? Sorry, I just jumped in there. You talked about home improvement, and then I'm like, oh, that's right. I'm going to be doing my laundry. Go ahead.
That's right. We need those updates. But no, in game, I've been trying out the core mining as well, for reasons we'll discuss tonight.
Spoilers. Cool. Well, yeah, everything. This is not this slow time of year for me. I end up in this ever this endless never goes away big push at the end of December to like get a bunch of projects done that invariably they had delays, and audio is so often like the last thing in the project chain. So I'm always the one kind of cleaning up delays. But hey, we're hanging in there and we're staying relatively on schedule for this year. So everything's pretty okay in there. And my kid is reading now, which means whereas before we could kind of just put stuff all over the place and it doesn't really matter. Now if she sees things, but before I realize and intervene, she's saying, "What does this word mean?" And it's like, so yeah, things need to be hidden these days. That's new and different for me. I did get to play a little bit in game. I missed my FDL, so I fully engineered a new FDL, and guess that was a mistake. Now we see, but anyway, it's fine. I don't mind. That's about the size of it. And then I'm in here right now. We're gonna try to go hunting for some core rocks to mine, because the pulse wave analyzer. I guess I'm jumping right in here. The pulse wave analyzer is fixed, everyone. Woo! I'm gonna open a beer because of that.
You cracked open a rock.
That's right. That was actually the rock opening. I'm going to open my beer in a few minutes. What's funny to me about this is it was just last week, right? I think it was like the last Tuesday stream that Art said, like in no uncertain terms, like we're working on it, but they don't even know what's wrong yet. Like we have no time frame for a fix. And I was like, I resigned myself, I was like, believing him. This is, whatever. It's fine. They got a lot to work on, and it's not like I can't play the game, blah, blah, blah. And then a couple of days after we recorded that episode, it's like, oh, by the way, fixing coming tomorrow. Problem solved. So, I mean, that's cool. And I guess everything works. I think I just came across the first core. I've been sort of sweeping as we've been talking, and I think I did just find one. Not a lot of super bright yellow in this particular ring, but, it is behaving normally. So all is right and well with that world.
Now you just got to figure out what to mine, right? Void opals aren't so hot right now.
Yeah, void opals suck, and low temperature diamonds also suck. Actually, now that I'm very close to this one, I'm not convinced it's a core.
Everything.
Yeah, I'm trying rocky rings because I think most of the valuable stuff is turning up in them now. So I had to hunt a little bit, but I found something. So we'll see how that goes. But that's that, man. Good job. Way to fix the thing. Sort of funny how it came about.
For 3 months.
Well, you know how it came about. Previously, they had an intern working on this in a closet. and then they said on stream, we don't know when it's going to be fixed. And I guess, somebody slightly higher up the food chain at FDEB heard that on the stream and said, we need to put a real programmer on this.
Oh my God.
And 5 hours later, boom, it's fixed.
Huh.
Well, okay. All right.
What are you mining in? What kind of ship?
In the closet.
Ship is your core miner?
My core miner's a Python. And I have stuff for subsurface and cores. Is palladium valuable?
No.
Not really. Okay, never mind. We'll leave that on the ignore list. I just found a painite core. Doesn't that suck?
Yeah.
I found 2 last night. Yeah, not trying to look for them either. It's like,
yeah, I mean, whatever. I guess I'll crack it. But anyway, well, let's blast into some game news. What do you say? So, right off the bat, there's some Galnet stuff going on. There's an outpost was constructed at the highest system above the galactic plane. I guess some rich guy made this system. Decided to build the station. That's the story in Galnet. So, I guess it is in game, but it's kind of fluffy in game, don't we think?
Well, yeah, but everything can't be hardcore all the time. So,
yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's just neat. There's another place to go visit that is,
Right.
out in the black,
right?
And in an interesting place like that, up at Galaxy looks so cool when you get up there like that.
Yeah. Super good views and some who looking back at the notes, it was Manitook, right? I can't.
Yep.
Yeah,
Manitook took his
now.
fleet carrier up there.
He stayed up all night last night jumping it there.
he's still up. I'm riding it back now. He's still jumping it back. Thanks, Manitook.
Yeah, I logged on I hopped on this morning and looked at Discord, and it was the usual crew that's on at 7 o'clock at night was all on at 7 o'clock this morning. So I'm like, did I oversleep by 12 hours? And I hopped in chat, and we're all listening to the Twitch stream and stuff. And Manitook was still jumping from the night before. Well,
so cool views up there. Go check it out. They are buying, this is the other interesting thing, they are buying a bunch of basically booze, I guess. These commodities, there's a lot of them that count as booze, and they are being purchased for extremely high buy prices if you can cart them all the way out there. So that's fun. It is an outpost, heads up.
Yes.
No large pads. But, bring your carrier or get Manitook to do it for you, I guess. And you can make a lot of money.
Let him know. He'll take you up there whenever you want, any day.
Yeah.
It only takes about 6 hours with a carrier. It's all good.
Oh, my God. Yeah, it's a bit of a hike. I've been pretty high off that. How high is it exactly off the plane?
About 5,300 or 5,500 light years.
Wow.
Like that.
Wow.
That's probably twice as high as I've ever been.
Yeah.
Wow. That's big. That's big.
I don't know.
Right,
I did some stuff in college that got me pretty high.
Okay.
Now.
So that is not what we were talking about.
That was a long time
There
ago.
goes the G rating.
G rating. An episode where one of you hasn't cursed has not happened since I have been helming this thing. If we're supposed to be G rated, nobody told me or any of you.
What fucking show have you been listening to, Nurgle?
I have been ticking that explicit box. Anyway, In other Galnet news, the hostile takeover attempts of Lakon continue to get more hostile as Core Dynamics has lowered the prices of a bunch of their ships as an attempt to, I guess, I don't know. Are they trying to raise money, or are they trying to like drive the ship market? Okay, so they're trying to raise their offer.
Wait, I think the majority stakeholder. Yeah. So they can just vote the way they want to.
They're dropping prices to sell inventory to get cash on hand to buy Lakon stock. It's a hostile takeover.
All right.
And the longer this goes, the better it is for anybody buying ships.
Right, exactly. The other interesting thing that just popped off today is that a bunch of the engineers, I guess, got together and said, "Hey, you know what? We've been, we've been being dicks to all these commanders for far too long. Let's just not charge them as much in materials for their engineering mods." And so, from now until the 7th of January. Engineering now just costs fewer rolls to get up to grade 5.
And it's a significant difference too.
Yeah, you were testing it out a few minutes ago.
Yeah, on engineers that'll do a grade 5 upgrade to a system, the grade, assuming you have grade 5 access to them, a grade 3 upgrade is generally one roll. And that won't fill it out, but that'll get you to the point where you can go ahead and start on the grade 4 upgrades. So it's
it's treating 3 like 1s usually are.
Pretty much, yeah.
1s or 2s sometimes. Sometimes a 2 I can get it to go just about all the way around. Oh, here's a Serendibite core. That's fun.
Well, and a lot of the grade 5s were 3 or 4 rolls to max them out. It's a significant, yeah.
They've been talking about rebalancing engineering, Matt. Could this just be a precursor to that? Just kind of getting us in a position where, it's a little cheaper to do it now, run. But then they're going to be easier to get later when the price goes back to normal?
I think there's 2 things going on here. Well, 3 things going here. One, they just wanted to do something, for the holidays to have an event. But I think part of this is kind of a dry run at, well, let's see what this looks like for rebalancing. Mm-hmm. And then I really think that this is also an attempt to get everybody to bottom out their engineering materials before Odyssey. So people aren't starting with most people are not going to start with a big wad of engineering materials to throw at new stuff.
I have to believe that there are going to be new and separate engineering materials, though, for Odyssey stuff. Don't you think?
I'm sure there'll be some. There'll probably be an awful for sure. Yeah, there'll probably be some crossover too, but there'll be new ones. Yeah, things you can only get on foot.
Yeah, that's what I would think.
There definitely just be something new you'll have to grind, is what it'll be. Whether it's in space or on foot, I'm guessing there'll just be some new materials you have to use.
Right.
Well, there's no on foot mining, but maybe like manufactured mats, that sort of thing. Maybe
plant gun.
New datas.
How much chlorophyll? How many chloroplasts do you have to?
New data stuff, like battery cells, weird shit like that. They just can only scavenge, maybe.
They did mention. Oh yeah. They did mention scanning NPCs for data on foot. I did mention that today.
Right.
Do we have a person scanning probe for that?
I think we just targeting them is probably going to do it.
It's called a gun.
I wanted a person gun. We got
it's called a gun.
Chig just wants to probe people in open.
I was hoping.
He wants to probe them right open.
in open, but that works too.
That was weird.
Okay. I realize now that I glossed right over where I had put Squadron update in the notes. Do you want to give us a quick Squadron update? Is there anything important going on in the Squadron that the people have to know?
Well, as we mentioned last week, you can't keep Ross down, and we are expanding again. still trying to determine where we want to try to send that, but that's pretty much it.
Or where we
moment.
can direct,
or where we
even
can direct,
have a choice.
Yeah. Well, we have some choices, but without some prep work, they're all pretty much the same. So it's a coin toss for whether we want to let nature take its course or whether we want to steer it. I'm still trying to work in Comma to take a last resource there. Still trying to build ourselves up in V640. That's pretty much it.
Okay. Yeah, so the detail in Comma is if you're going to Comma, don't work for loose screws. We actually want the next faction below us to be winning. And I think that's the thing about BGS sometimes is there gets to be a little bit of confusion now and then about that.
Yeah, it can be very confusing sometimes. When I'm writing those squadron orders, I'm trying to be as clear as I can, but even then that doesn't always work out sometimes.
Right. Okay. Very good. So at this point, this is the big thing to talk about is some things were released. There was another one of their AMA things, Ask Me Anythings, that kind of came out on the forum. And this one was a little bit interesting because it wasn't exactly the same. They actually just looked through previous questions and picked out ones that they wanted to answer. Now that is interesting to me because it kind of, how these have largely, there's been a lot of like, we can't comment on that right now, or there's been a lot of sort of, it's really just sort of a forum for suggestions, excuse me. So a couple of things that they picked out really kind of, it's what do I say? It's sort of, gosh, I totally lost the word I was going to use here. It's conspicuous that they answered a few of these. So I think I've kind of mixed these all up into the notes. So we'll shoot through here. But which one did I? Oh yeah, particularly the one that I think was a little bit conspicuous was in that AMA. They took a question about will fleet carriers get interiors designed for them that we can walk around in an Odyssey, and the answer was we have no comment about that at this time. But this was questions that they selected, right? So they specifically chose to tell us we have no comment about that at this time. So, normally I have very little patience for like the kind of, I don't want to say pointless, but the kind of like just speculation, just sort of feeling like, oh man, like trying to read everything possible into everything that they say. Yeah. Right. Exactly. This sort of like feeling of like, I'm like prognosticating about it or something. But because they specifically picked that, this wasn't like, anyway, I don't really know if it's important, but it seems weird that they would select that question if they weren't trying to sort of put that into our minds, possibly.
I think that says that they like to have that done, and they probably have some devs working on it, but they're not sure if it'll be in by launch. That's how I take it.
And there were other questions where they just said no, and they didn't say that.
Right.
Here.
Right, exactly. So there's this AMA that comes out. The Dev Diary 3 comes out, which everyone should run out and watch. I rather enjoyed this one, particularly the focus on the sound of everything. It made me feel like it was directed directly at me.
Well, when we were watching that this morning, I told you the regular crew was in there, and I hopped in, and then that launched. And when they were talking about the sound design, I said right then, God, they got good sound design people, because they go the extra mile.
Oh, exactly. Like the idea here being, of course, that like they talk specifically about that sound is meant to convey information to you, and specifically about like the player's breathing and stuff like that. And I'm imagining mechanics of maybe not like it doesn't appear to have like a stamina bar or anything, because we've seen the HUD at this point, but I do kind of, you can hear sort of the intensity of what's going on, and I imagine that would be changed and affected by, well, they specifically say changed and affected by like what's happening in your surroundings. So, I mean, higher gravity would be much more strenuous on your body, things like this. So, I'm excited for that. It's always very mood setting.
Definitely.
I was torn between whether I'd start to find that annoying or if that's a cool concept. So I'll wait and see. If you're always hearing that breathing going on, that could get. I could see that getting old, but I love the idea of it. I really like that where they were talking about how they were firing guns, indoors, outdoors, and in different places to make sure you were getting those sound changes depending on your environment and stuff like that.
Right. And actually, that's interesting from a sort of a game development perspective as well, because that says to me that a lot of what they're doing isn't special effects on the sound. So they're not using like modeled reverberations and stuff. They're actually trying to use a different gun sample if you're in a large cavernous space versus a narrow hallway or something. And that seems interesting to me from that perspective. It seems sort of like the opposite of what I would try to do, but I have absolutely no idea how to develop a game. So, but that did stick out to me. Just so I have it, I think this discussion is going to go in 100 different directions. So just to have everything out on the table, besides just the dev diary itself, there was also a rather long stream today where they talked with several important people, and a lot of other information managed to come out in those interviews that wasn't just in the video. So everything's on the table, and I have quite a list. And I don't know if the right move is to kind of go down the list to make sure these are kind of like the points that I picked out.
Well, how about you just kind of guide it here, kind of go down the list, and if we have anything to interject on anything, we'll come in. You don't have to like
thoroughly.
Yeah, you don't have to be like, the first one, multi-crew and SRV. Do you guys have anything to say about it? Don't do that. Right. Talk about it. If you have any interjection, just jump in.
Okay.
On air production meeting.
I just tried to breathe some.
He's so choked up about it.
You sound like you're dying. Have your kid read a Heimlich maneuver book.
I'm okay. Much apologies. I tried to breathe liquid. It's not a good plan.
It never works.
Never works at all. Okay. Well, sure. So what just happened?
Lost Jark.
Yark. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. As long as one of them stays. So, I think this was from the AMA, multi-crew into the SRV. So the question that I think was asked that they answered was about whether somebody was going to be able to fly your starship. And the answer was no. So we're still in a situation where only you can fly starships you own. However, multi-crew will be expanded to in the sense that like now they can drive your SRVs. And I feel like I've seen from kind of the sort of footage that we've been shown and things like that, it's been made pretty clear that you could do things like find and abandon SRV and or something like that, or have an SRV and swap drivers. Huh?
Grand Theft SRV going on here? Is that
perhaps
jack somebody's SRV on the planet's surface? Yeah,
it looks like because they show.
Go ahead.
Because in one of the earlier trailers, I think maybe the Game Awards trailer, you saw them standing around an empty SRV, like they're about to get to it. That's all I had, Nurgle.
Okay. Over a month ago or so, one of the topics on the show was things we wanted to see in Odyssey. And one of the things most people wanted to see was changes to the netcode and to the multi-crew and wing code so that that all worked better together. And two of the things they said, one of them was multi-crewing into an SRV, which sounds like a flat-out improvement because you can't do that now. It just doesn't work. And then later on, they said there was going to be no fundamental network changes. It's still going to be peer-to-peer, which makes it sound like maybe there's not going to be a lot of changes, and maybe we're still going to have instancing problems and all that other stuff. So I don't know whether to be optimistic or pessimistic about that.
I lean towards staying with P2P isn't necessarily bad if they improve how they do it. I don't think P2P is fundamentally, bad. I think that if they fix a lot of the other code issues, because I think, a part of it is what information, if they can condense that to make things easier. I'm hoping for the best there. I really wish they'd have gone to a, central server type thing, but then your server farms and everything else. So I don't know. I'm not worried about that so much. I know a lot of people really saw that as like, oh my God, they're sticking with this way of doing things, but
it caused quite a row.
Yeah, peer-to-peer is just the way these games are going to be because, from a financial standpoint for the company, it's just so much cheaper to operate this way than it is to try to have a big server farm. That's not going to change. I just hope that, like Chig said, that they've tinkered with the code to try to make all of that stuff work better on the network architecture that they're using.
With the main thing that we're wanting to work better being what, like instancing, trying to get into the same place at the same time?
Instancing, maybe getting wings and multi-crew to function at the same time.
Just the general bugginess of multi-crew, right? Like the fact that you're in it for a little while and then it's a certain number of minutes before the sort of menu starts to scramble and you got to quit and start it again.
Right.
Yeah, for a multiplayer game, it sure is difficult to play multiplayer most of the time right now. And with them adding this other layer to the game, now you're going to be able to, your ship is going to be able to play it with the SRVs while also with people on foot. There's, these additional layers. So they have to have had made improvements to everything. Otherwise, it wouldn't work at all. Am I expecting it to work flawlessly? No, I'm not. I'm expecting, some growing pains because this is new for them too. I mean, they've been working on it for a long time, but I think that they definitely have had that might have been a big reason for a lot of the delays is getting that shit to work right. Because if it was a single player game, it's one thing. A multiplayer game, you've got a lot of communities that want to play together, and if this comes out and they can't do that, that's going to be a huge miss.
And I think and you touched on this, but I think it's important to point out that everybody should expect that no matter when it launches, there's going to be significant bugs at launch. And that's, no matter how much they've tested it between now and whenever they launch it, once a couple 100,000 players get their hands on it, we're going to find bugs they just won't find in testing. That's just modern software.
Yeah, we have this alpha, which I'll be joining. I have my pre-order, by the way. Have you guys done your pre-order?
Mm-hmm.
Not yet, but I'm going to.
Yeah, as soon as it went for sale, I had it, of course.
I went for the super deluxe, so I'd have the early access, not quite understanding what alpha is exactly going to mean in this case, but I'll be there for whatever it does mean.
What alpha said to me was, unfortunately, I'm like, oh, it's farther away than I thought because it wasn't like beta access; it was alpha access. It
does feel that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it could just be semantics.
In one of the forum posts, they called it alpha/beta. No.
Okay.
Because that clears it right up.
Yeah.
Well, it to me, I that makes me think probably 2 rounds. I guess I don't really know what's the cultural point of calling something an alpha. Is that just like this is a teaser, now we're showing it off kind of situation, and then beta is for the sake of
7
pen
Days to Die
testing.
is alpha
it's semantics.
19.2. So there's been 19 alphas for 7 Days to Die. So I got.
So it's sort of whatever they want.
It's whatever they decide to do. Until you hit release. Anything before that is a test phase, and they just kind of decide which level of test. I'm sure somebody, designer out there or something, is listening to me talk and being like, "This fucking idiot, it's defined like this." But I think it is what it is.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. Hold on. I have one more seismic charge to shoot. This is very important stuff. Okay, here we go. Now we're in the range.
Another thing that got answered from the physical multi-crew and SRVs, I think, during one of the interviews today, there will be no Grand Theft spaceship because they're still having it to where the ship's security computer will only allow the owner to fly the ship.
Well, yeah,
okay, so that's the lore reason.
Yeah, once they said that you couldn't fly somebody else's spaceship, I knew that Grand Theft spaceship was out, but you got the SRV side of it. Well, can you steal somebody's fighter? That'd be interesting.
I can't
the fighter's tied to the mothership, though. Like, so how would you steal it?
I would hack it.
But it doesn't have a frame shift drive.
Well, if my ship is in the same instance, I'm stealing your damn fighter.
Okay.
Get over it.
If I can't fly somebody else's ship, I can't have a career as repo man in space.
Not yet. Unless they miss payments on their SRV.
Okay, so one interesting thing that I really was glad to hear, they addressed the question of like gravity and how this is all being handled. And it isn't exactly what I would have wanted, but I like having an answer. So particularly, they said for planet surfaces, there is a safe range where you'll be able to walk. So we've seen, like on the HUD now, we've seen that we have like a gravity meter explaining to us how, what we're enduring at the moment, as well as heat. So heat will be a thing, another kind of survival mechanic or something to think about, which is the same as our ships now. Not a big surprise. They also said that in outposts and situations like that where there would be no gravity because there's no spin, no gravity or simulated gravity, then we'll have mag boots. So I would have loved to have like the Lone Echo thing where we could float around and sort of like have magnetic gloves and boots and attach ourselves, but we'll just I probably look normal, I think, right? Is that what you guys are imagining?
My hope is that they stay consistent with it. If we're in a mag boot in a bar, I hope that your drinks aren't just sitting on the bar normally. They need to make sure that things that affected by gravity are held down in things
have to be in
that.
squeezy pouches.
We have to be, something, because otherwise it'll just be like the coffee maker in the crate. It just makes no fucking sense. But,
you just gotta up thrust the whole time you're making coffee.
Down to earth
once
astronomy.
It's made, don't down thrust or turn left or right for sure.
Right. Mm-hmm. Down to earth astronomy, when he was talking about this, he was really upset about the mag boots. And they're just hand waving this, but they have to do this. I mean, from a programming perspective, it's just so much easier to just make it consistent all the way across and hand wave away the 0G in these stations. Otherwise, there's a whole bunch of special coding that has to take place. And it's the same reason that in every sci-fi movie ever made, the aliens look like humans and they speak English.
Yeah, but I'm kind of with Astro a little bit on that, because they could have just kept outposts. They're not allowing us to walk around our ships. They could have kept outposts out of it. They could have kept the 0G areas out of it for now until they had the 0G solution. Right now, I think that they wanted to add the outposts, and now they just kind of tacked this on as a way to do it.
Right.
And now going forward, I would have rather had them just do sci-fi thing where there was Galnet stories about some scientist finally figured out artificial gravity rather than Newtonian centrifugal force gravity. Mm-hmm. Somebody actually invented how to do it, but I don't know.
Yeah, but then they'd have every station stop spinning.
Why? It'd be cheaper just to keep it spinning. You'd have
True.
the gravity, the 1G at the outermost part. Then they could use the artificial gravity as you move in, and you wouldn't have to, retrofit, 50,000, spinning stations with artificial gravity because they already have, a centrifugal gravity.
That'd be a heck of a community goal, though.
For me, I guess I don't mind mag boots at all because I think that's an extremely cheap solution. But I want to move very differently when I'm using mag boots, and I want there to be hazards. Like if I somehow get disconnected from the floor, I need also to have mag gloves or to be able to like thrust myself back down somehow if something goes wrong, or
magnetic butt plate so I can sit easily.
Magnetic butt plate. The inability to jump. Definitely, like if we can jump in places where our mag boots are supposed to be working, this is all broken for me. So, but that's not hard, right? So, you're in a zero gravity situation, your mag boots are engaged, so jump is off. If you use your jetpack, you will hit the ceiling and never come down.
See, I thought
sustained critical injury from hitting the ceiling.
I thought looking at the jetpacks from the first, Odyssey teaser we got, I thought maybe the jetpacks themselves were going to have like little down thrusters, and that's how they were going to handle it. And that's always pushing us down because then you could still jump. Yeah. That's the direction I thought they were going to do. Yeah, I don't
That's interesting.
I mean, it's a lot of years in the future. I'm bad at math. It's 1,300 years in the future, so.
Okay.
Still figure something out.
It's still 1,000 years later. Chig's still bad at math.
They're considering it. I mean, they said that the jumping distance will be affected by gravity.
Right.
And
grenade trajectories and stuff. So, and like I kind of mentioned earlier, like I'm thinking if we're hearing our breathing and how strenuous a situation we're sustaining, I expect that is going to be affected by gravity as well. I expect if I'm having to huff and puff just to walk normally, I want to feel that. So that's my
the heaviest
hopes and
huffing
dreams.
and puffing is going to be when you're probing another player, right?
Okay. All right.
Wait. Moving on. All right.
So we teased a few minutes ago, but they also answered a question about mining. Mining is not a thing right now, at least not at launch on the surface. So we're not going to have any new kind of mining on foot.
I know people were disappointed by this, but honestly, right now we mine by the ton. So on foot, I didn't know how it was going to become a realistic thing. So. Unless you're mining.
So scavenging, much more realistic.
Yeah. Yes. If you're going for anything of value, it would have to be the scavenging way.
They showed off that little cutting tool today as part of one of the suits.
Yeah.
Right, as a way to enter doors and stuff that are locked.
Yeah.
So I mean that's seems associated to me with a couple of different things. For one thing, scavenging, but also they were talking later on in some of their interviews about the mission types. And one of the mission types, besides like straight up like attack this, the mission was like a turn the power back on. So you'd be essentially infiltrating a base for the sake of helping them turn their power back on. And so for that reason, like the doors wouldn't work, right? Because the power is off. So there we might need to cut the door or something. Anyway, cutting tool.
I'm looking at the possibility of, since the different suits have different abilities, you may have one of these missions where you need somebody in the scavenger suit for the cutting torch, and you need the other guys in the combat suit to be fighting things off. And you have to think about your loadout before you go in, and team balance. And there's lots of possibilities there. Maybe not if you're still limited to 4 people, but there's still lots of possibilities there.
That's right. They were stressing being careful about your loadout to be properly arranged, and mentioned specifically how squishy we're all supposed to be, how we shouldn't feel so cavalier about charging in to a situation, and we need to be careful about planning. So I felt like that meant I was a vulnerable little, carbon-based life form.
Always be on when you're outside of the base and on the planet surface, always be on the lookout for purple Corvettes.
Pancake.
They finally talked about ship versus people versus ship.
Yes, although still not shown, and I don't think they were very direct.
No.
So what do you think about that? I mean, they're still insisting that the sphere of combat, or sort of, sometimes they called it a sphere, sometimes they called it a triangle. A triangle meaning foot, SRV, and ship.
Yeah. Not good at that geometry thing.
That they have
your first thought is
English language at times.
First thought is the ships are so powerful. How could you ever stand a chance against them? What it seems that they'll rely on is the anti-aircraft, the gun emplacements at the bases to keep ships out until you can walk in there and disable the big guns. But if they're anything like the guns that are on base
stations,
you can take a lot of fire from those things before you're in danger, depending on what ship you're in. So unless that makes sense,
stay out at range where they're really not that much of a threat and still be able to strike them. So that's interesting.
They could have like engineered anti-aircraft guns. Right now our ships are so heavily engineered that that's what you're dealing with, is newer, improved shit like that.
They will have land-based point defense turrets. I think that's new, unless I just have never seen that before. They'll shoot down your missiles.
Okay, so that is big, because missiles are very, very effective against them. So I think that is new, because I've seen lasers and I've seen missiles, surface-to-air missiles, surface-to-not-surface missiles. I guess it's not air. At least it hasn't been until now. So I mean, that seems to be that's what they described. It was we're balancing it by making it difficult for the ship to get close enough to do something like that. But they did say that you can fire on a ship, and for specifics, I know he said, like, for example, if a Sidewinder were to land on the ground, a human on the ground should be able to destroy it in about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm assuming properly equipped. So to me, that means, for one thing, ships become more vulnerable when they're on the ground, for the sake of sabotage or destruction or something, right? Because I think there's no reason to say specifically when it's on the ground, unless I guess that was the only way for them to concentrate fire on it long enough if it wasn't moving.
He said power.
What do you think?
Landed and powered down.
He said powered down.
So is it
okay.
Ships that are sitting in the bases that come after you if you are bad? Maybe like something like that.
Or a player's ship that landed in order to do something on foot.
Yeah.
Go and separate and destroy their getaway car.
I want my Millennium Falcon point defense anti-personnel guns.
Oh yeah. Little drop down.
Yeah.
And perhaps we will have that. Perhaps.
And they mentioned, I think, you'll have grenades that are suited to take out the damage shields of ships.
Right.
Maybe, or just shield.
Explosive, and then EMP grenades, and then also a defensive grenade, a grenade that produces some kind of strong defensive shield when it's deployed. That's very interesting. So there's lots of fun things there in that list. You guys love grenades, right? And I definitely saw in some of these random shots, since we're meandering all over the place, there was definitely some like rocket launcher kind of situation. One of those guns was firing what appeared to be dumbfire rockets. And you could definitely see in one of the detail shots the appearance of being loaded with small rockets. So I think they've said, so guns, let's skip to guns. 3 types of guns. You may be familiar with these: lasers, plasma, and kinetic. And it seems like this is just what you're thinking. I noticed that I saw some jitter on the laser machine gun that was firing, and looking like a burst laser with its somewhat significant jitter.
Right.
Kinetic, you'd expect recoils from a kinetic weapon, and the plasma seemed to recoil and have a travel time plasma may be affected by gravity. I don't know. Would plasma be too? Would it be massless? I don't know. Has a travel time. I don't know if it has a fall as well. Anyway.
Yeah, so they stressed, use lasers against shielded enemies and then shoot their armor and their bodies with bullets. They seem to stress that a couple of times. So only the combat variant of the suit will let you carry two primary weapons.
Right. Okay, so suits, we have... Well, the flight suit, you can wear your flight suit, but that doesn't do anything. It, I guess, just keeps you alive. And then there's a Maverick suit, which is focused on scavenging. It has things like your cutting tools and stuff like that. It's probably got some other tools built into it and room to add those tools. The Manticore suit is the combat one, has high armor and shields, can carry two primary weapons. And then there's an exploration suit with higher survivability. I'm assuming maybe longer battery power, longer O2. Probably some other things, maybe better jetpack situation, different kinds of scanners. I'm making assumptions here. The rest of that wasn't
maybe has the plant,
as far as I know.
That's the suit with the plant gun in it, maybe.
Yeah. I'm going to make another assumption, and this may be a language thing, but when they say, like the Manticore suit has two primary weapons, the fact that you say primary weapons implies that there are secondary weapons.
Yeah, it has to be like a primary and sidearm kind of situation, right? Because we saw images of pistol-sized and shaped weapons as well. So that's my presumption. You guys think?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking too.
Yeah, like a low-powered sidearm with infinite ammo. Maybe something. That's how games
maybe you keep your lasers there. I know that the only guns that could, right, would be the laser guns, the laser type guns, and we see those having magazines, and they even talk about how like the aesthetics of the weapons are unique. So the battery pack, or in this case the magazine for the laser type weapons is circular, and they said it had like a magnetic attachment that it'll sort of like you place it and then it slides itself into the port and stuff as a sort of just a design aesthetic choice.
A battery.
So yeah, like pistol, yes. Infinite ammo, I'm thinking no.
I agree. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think they'll do that.
No.
So it won't be like Doom, you say? Elite Dangerous won't be like Doom?
I mean, I could be wrong. Whatever. Let's see. What should we go on to? Gosh, we're so disorganized. This is fine.
The part that when Arf was interviewing Gareth Hughes, the part that they both seemed the most excited about was, to me, when they were talking about running people over with the SRV. And they were very excited, saying like, yeah, it's very satisfying to do that. They had to mess with the AI's intelligence because they were too good at jumping out of the way, I guess, of SRVs. So you got to try that a few times.
They made the NPCs dumber so we can run them over?
That is what they did.
All right. I'll take it.
Okay.
All right.
It takes all kinds, I guess.
Yeah, right.
GTA 3307.
That's right.
Let's see. Okay, let's get a couple of additional negatives out of the way. No module storage changes. They decided to pull that one out and answer it on the AMA. No, we will not be giving you more module storage. Boo, hiss.
I'm uninstalling.
Literally,
I called my credit card company right away. I want to pre-order this game.
Why would they say no to that of all things? Jesus.
How hard is it, right? How hard is it? It drives me crazy.
We can put 40 ships at every station in the galaxy, but we can't have more than 120 modules in storage? What am I missing?
I don't know. Here's another terrain overlaps. They were asked about could overhangs be generated, and they said no, that's not possible with their procedural generation. I still feel like that's leaving open the possibility that they can place caves. It would just be like placing a building, right? But it won't be happening naturally, which is, I mean, disappointing but not unexpected.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. If they want to add that at any point, they could just, they could generate POIs procedurally at a later date and add it to the game, or it could be coming with Odyssey.
Right.
They're just saying a planet on its own isn't going to, their way of generating can't do that, right?
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, they can generate POIs, which means they can definitely generate a POI that was a cave or 5 versions of it or whatever, and then just have it sort of populate under these conditions and or maybe mission related. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
it can hold out some hope.
Me or I don't even care. All right.
That doesn't concern you.
No.
Can't be bothered. I'll tell you what. Let me sift through and see if I can find some more negatives. Let's get them out of the way.
Like your height or weight. That's okay. I'm short in real life, so if I can be average height in this game, I'm happy.
That seems like it would be a probably like a hitbox thing. Because I heard somebody say like, so we would, making sure we can all fit in the same chairs. But I mean, you'd have to be pretty you have to have pretty extreme size differences to not be able to fit in these luxurious chairs.
But that just goes back to conserving programming resources.
Yeah, part of that.
You think it's not a PvP hitbox issue?
No.
Nah.
Because you could always have the hitbox remain the same, regardless of the actual size. It's just so that they don't have to create different size resources and sprites for all of this. It's easier to standardize.
Different suit dimensions, you start, stretching and adjusting the suits and everything else, going different heights and weights. I mean, it'd be hilarious to see a big old fat dude, in a suit. Barely fit him, but I don't know. It doesn't bother me. I'm just happy there's not, custom genitalia like Cyberpunk, so we're good.
Yeah.
I only need so much customization.
Exactly.
Okay, so the other sort of negative that was disappointed by is they don't have an answer yet about can players see each other. Can Odyssey players and non-Odyssey players see each other? I mean, I guess I'm still under the assumption that it would behave like Horizons did, right? So, yes, but the question is, like, would you even be able to see the people on foot? Because with Horizons, you could still be down there and be in the SRV. So, I guess unknown at this time. Probably not a lot to comment on there.
Again, I think that's a conservation of resources, because if
all they've said is we don't know, though.
Right, but you think about this. So if you have somebody who does not have Odyssey, if they're going to be able to, say, see Odyssey players when they're driving around on a planet surface, that means they have to have all of that code base and the models and everything else and the physics for how people move. So I think that's going to be a real issue. I mean, I hate it, but I think that's going to be a real issue.
But the planetary tech, haven't we been told that the planetary tech is going to extend back to Horizons?
Yeah.
Like the new planet graphics?
Yeah, but I think
there is still going to be an update, even
models. Are they going to have that in Horizons also? I don't know. I think that's where they're at with it, probably.
Yeah, it's a big, I don't know.
Because literally you add all of that to where they can be on a planet and see the people running around, and they basically have Odyssey. At that point, they just can't get out of their ship and walk around.
Right.
Well, true.
So I don't know. I don't know. Once again, I don't care. I have Odyssey. Somebody's too cheap to upgrade. That's their fault.
Right.
A hate mail to Chig at the Discord anytime.
Okay. Well, there were quite a few things that I loved to hear from this AMA as well. For one thing, the redone lighting will be game wide. Every light source in the entire game is being updated and sort of refreshed how that is happening. It's not ray tracing. Somebody at some point, I think, asked about ray tracing, which would be a crazy thing. I mean, there'd be like fundamental changes to the game engine to make that happen. But they were sort of like asking it indignant, like it should have been expected. How come you're not doing ray tracing? Like, are you kidding me? This is a 15-year 15. This is a 5-year-old, 6-year-old game now as of what today?
Yeah.
Anyway, new lighting throughout. Performance. They said that we shouldn't need to change our graphics settings level to adapt to performance. So if anybody's not got like totally updated hardware, it shouldn't be a problem. I like that, and it makes sense,
that's
right?
Good to hear.
Old games can be updated, and that's very nice. Updated and optimized to stay sort of relevant and good. So that is good, and I like. Okay, modding weapons. The weapons are modifiable both cosmetically and functionally. I enjoyed hearing about that. So
one thing I caught from that, though, that they were talking about with like the engineering the weapons is it's not going to be like ships now where you can engineer something again after once you modify it. It is what it is. Did I hear that right today?
That's what it sounded like.
That wasn't my reading of it at all. I thought what they were saying was that I thought they were basically saying it's not easy and it's grindy and expensive. You're not going to want to get rid of this gun.
I think they were saying that also.
Oh, you think it was both?
Oh, yeah, I think it was both.
That's how I took it. But then again, I was listening and trying to get ready for work and stuff at the same time. So I may have misheard. I didn't get a chance to re-listen.
But they definitely want you to, your guns will be worth something to you with the time investment in them. It's not going to be a looter shooter like a Borderlands or
grind
something like that. Yep. There are many like it. This one's mine. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I fully expected a situation where it's at least like it is now. Like I basically thought we know what the grind level is for this game, and I didn't expect it to be any different. So I don't know. Maybe I'm setting my sights too low. So let's see. I'm trying to zip through and see if there's anything that we haven't kind of talked about. We've ended up kind of coming across most of the things from the actual video. I did see a ship marker on the HUD compass. That's pretty obvious, I guess, that we'd need a marker where our ship was. But, that got me thinking about various navigational kind of options, setting locations and trying to find our way to them for the sake of missions and things like that. So that all seems fun. Not that interesting, I guess. Let's see. What did I talk about? The other mission type that he talked about was assassination missions, where you'd sort of need to choose how to approach it. Like you'd have various ways of either sneaking in or blowing everything up, the loud or the quiet ways of kind of doing things, and security levels. And we see this in some of the images too, you appear to have security access to a certain point, probably either granted through reputation or hacking or simply cutting the door.
One thing they mentioned today, one of the softer ways to go about the missions rather than just killing everybody is you can scan the other people on foot and get their access codes that way. But if they catch you doing that, then they'll get suspicious and start, your wanted level will go up.
I like this a lot because anytime there's an option to, I end up playing sort of the sneaky stealth character in games.
Yeah, so you can
like this.
You can access computer terminals to find your target's location and just go and murder them more quietly than killing everybody.
Nice.
Or you can fall back in the installation. So
Nuke the site from orbit.
that would
That's
be
the only way to be
equivalent,
sure.
yes. That's the only way to be sure.
Teflon it first to distract them and get shot to death as we just run by and complete the mission.
Well,
I thought you were going to say we send Teflon in and then we nuke the site from orbit while they're distracted.
we're damn sure not going to leave Teflon in the ship from orbit because he'll shoot when we're in there.
Yeah,
He'd be the one
nuke it from
nuking.
orbit. It's the only way you can be sure. That's real. Is that
right.
an option? That would be great. We can nuke from orbit.
You can't fail a stealth mission if everybody's dead. There's no witnesses.
Yeah. In the Dishonored games, there was you'd get the ghost achievement if you did something where nobody saw you. So it's not just that no witnesses, but nobody even saw you. You can if you complete the whole game like that, it's like extremely difficult, right? But that would be my ultimate goal when I was playing those. Try to achieve the ghost.
I wonder if they're going to give us sniper rifles.
Ooh.
Surely. So, I mean, we've seen, the kinetic, the laser, the plasma guns, they each have their own separate manufacturer and they have separate sort of like looks to them, like branding kind of situations. But it also seemed like there were, variations between them, the pistol versus the rifle. Has to be that you have because one of those kinetic guns was firing like rocket launchers, and I also saw there's the scene where he's specifically talking about the types of guns, and he's just mentioned the magnetic magazine on the laser gun. I can see somebody out of frame also firing on the same target with what looks like a shotgun or like a frag cannon kind of situation to me. There was like a set of purple pellets.
See, a sniper rifle would really come in handy, outdoors, because there's not going to be an indoor place that's huge enough that a sniper rifle would really come in all that handy. And at that point, I would just snipe with a 6-kilometer rail gun from my ship. So, I mean, yeah, I could see why you would want it, but really.
But if they're undercover or something. Yeah. But they said, recording sound in those very large buildings, we could have some large areas. I don't know.
Sniper rifle, you're talking,
We're all it's all speculation at this point anyway. So.
Right.
The railgun from the Red Faction video game.
Oh, yeah.
The thermal camera, you can see the walls.
Right. That was great. Outstanding. Grenades, person versus ship. We talked about all this. Engineering, combined arms. Yep, we talked about all this stuff. Guys, I think we covered all of my notes.
I think we did.
Is there anything else that excited you guys that we haven't touched on yet? Or really pissed you off?
No. I don't. It was a nice information dump they dropped for us.
Yeah.
And we saw a lot of cool stuff, but I mean, right now, I just want a release date, God damn it! But
yeah, I want to plan some vacation time.
The interview they released near the end of the live stream today. That's what I expect from a dev diary instead of like the trailer.
Instead of the long form trailer.
Yeah.
I mean, they do contain these little mini interviews, but yeah, I tend to agree. I mean, they've got me excited. I wouldn't say I'm like jittery about it, but I am quite excited to play. I definitely, without hesitation, paid extra for the early access, and I'll stream that in Discord and stuff, of course, or whatever. But
we get this expansions version of the Cobra Mark IV or whatever it is. So, we get that suit that you can only get this way and stuff. Right. And
and to be clear, that's good for all the pre-orders, not just the deluxe one.
Correct,
get the suit.
Correct.
Yeah.
But I pre-ordered simply because the number of hours of entertainment I've got from this game, I have no problem giving them extra money.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
I don't want to say it too loud in case they start coming out with a super premium edition and a super duper premium edition, because yes, I would probably just pay for that too. But that's just, where I am, with games. Like I don't really care, about the alpha side of it at all, because we know that, Obsidian Ant, Astro, all those guys at the Burr Pit, they'll all have videos of all this stuff that I can see. I don't, and I know how, to run and jump and shoot in a first person shooter. So I don't need the alpha / beta / delta / I don't know, whatever they want to call it, access.
I believe gamma would be next. Yeah.
I don't know my, I was going to make up a language, but I don't know my Latin.
Yeah, I mean, I will happily plop down the money for the pre-order for the same reason that 2 or 3 times a year I buy ARCs. I get at least that much entertainment value out of the game, and I want to support them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I could be in a pool league. Well, bars are closed right now, but you know what I mean? I could be in a dart or a pool league that I'm out at the bar spending, $70, $80, a couple nights a week at the bar. Instead, I'm sitting at home playing this, not costing me a dime. So yeah, a packet of ARCs, a couple times a year, and buying the premium pre-order. I have zero problem doing that.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Well, that's all well and good. My takeaways are I'm really excited about almost everything. I'm most disappointed about the comments about the netcode. I wanted, not that I wanted it to go server, because I don't think that's realistic, and I also think like it would hamper the lifespan of the game, right? Because it would put a bigger financial burden on them going forward. And so I feel like the game will last longer if it stays P2P, but the answer didn't install a lot of confidence. I wanted to hear like, we're going to keep it this way. The exact language of the answer was like, we're going to keep it this way for the sake of maintaining consistency across everything. I wanted like, but don't worry, we're improving it kind of thing,
Yeah,
which I didn't get.
Some kind of reassurance would have been nice for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. Biggest disappointment for me is the no module storage changes. I wish that they had the entire outfitting and storage of modules. All of that could use a huge overhaul, in my opinion. Yeah. I wish that they would just take Coriolis and put it in the game.
Oh yeah,
that would be beautiful.
Awesome.
It's just fucking tedious. The fact that you have to use a third-party tool to first assemble your ship and then figure out everywhere you have to go to get.
Yeah. Find your modules on different ships and stuff. Of course, you wouldn't have to store them on different ships if you just had
that in
bigger storage. I don't care if it takes up tonnage in my fleet carrier.
I said that time, the solution is when you land on a ship and you put it in storage, all the modules go into one pool.
Oh yeah.
And then when you pull out outfitting that it had, when you put it in storage last, it'll put those modules on it, or you can start building from scratch from what you have. Would just make life so much.
Right.
It's a loadout, and it's such an elegant solution.
Modules pop in and out instantly. There's no lore reason why we shouldn't just have them instantly count as being in pooled storage. That doesn't break my immersion any more than what we already have. Right. Hey man, mag boots are real.
Watched.
Yeah, in fact, we got to finish this podcast so I can watch an episode of that. Anyway,
oh my
God, you're terrible. Yeah, well, you're not. I actually just haven't. I've just been busy, man, and I'm excited. Anyway,
dude, if the Expanse were person, it would have a restraining order against me, I think. I'm just weird obsession with that show. It's bad.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's.
That sounds like a good segue.
Good segue.
Yeah.
All right.
So, you know what? I haven't done any sounds tonight. Have I? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do, let's see, I'm going to do this one.
It's Chig Chat. Yeah, that's a fact. It's Chig Chat. Where the cheese at?
Jesus Christ. And just so everybody knows,
Hey, Ty, in case you're listening.
he's alive and good. He actually popped into Discord the other night, got to hear his dulcet tones for the first time in a while, and he's a good dude, and that singing is absolutely amazing. All right, Chig Chat tonight. This one's sat down on the couch, and it's that time of year. And all of a sudden, The Grinch Who Stole Christmas was on. The old cartoon where just a classic. And I started thinking about, oh my God, Christmas traditions and TV shows and, Christmas specials and movies that you watch every year at Christmas. Some people have great traditions. There's certain movies. We for a while watched Bad Santa every year. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie. That movie is so freaking funny. I mean, piss your pants funny. The Billy Bob Thornton is amazing in that movie. So I'd recommend that. And, started thinking about that. And then all of a sudden, I thought about the great debate about Die Hard, whether it's a Christmas movie or not.
There's nothing great or debate about this great debate.
Well, honestly, last year I was at my sister-in-law's and her husband and niece and nephews down in North Carolina for Christmas last year. After Christmas dinner and stuff, we're all sitting around and then started debating whether that was a Christmas movie or not. I'm like, that is a Christmas movie. And my niece and nephew, Izzy's seen it because I'm raising her right. She knows what Die Hard is and seen it. But my niece and nephew had not. So I actually bought it on Amazon so that we could watch it last Christmas. I'm like, this is a Christmas movie. We're going to sit down and Nakatomi Tower is going to be taken over and you're going to sit and watch this. After the movie, they agreed. Yeah, hell yeah, that's a Christmas movie. So, first I want to hear from people whether that is do you consider that a Christmas movie or not? And next, I just want any other interesting Christmas programs. Like It's a Wonderful Life is like one of my all-time favorite movies, but I can't even watch it. The older I get, the closer, more and more stupid things make me want to cry all the time. I think that it has to be 2020, but it's been years since I've been able to watch It's a Wonderful Life from beginning to end. I just have to, I'm like, no, I can't watch it anymore because it's so freaking good.
It's so long.
Shut up. But I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys have for Christmas things that you just can't miss every Christmas? It wouldn't be Christmas if you didn't watch it.
I want to jump in early because I don't have a lot of traditions, but Die Hard is the one. And since that was already mentioned, yeah, I mean Die Hard. That's what I always want to do, and my mom's always in for it with me. Even if my wife doesn't totally agree that it's a Christmas movie. I mean, she knows it's a Christmas movie, but it doesn't mean she always wants to watch it. But I know I can watch it with my mom, so it's cool.
Yippee Ki Yay.
Yeah.
So,
go ahead, Nergal.
Okay, so we talked about this before we did the show tonight. So I put the question up on the server, on the Discord server: is Die Hard a Christmas movie or not? And so far, it's 15-0 that it is a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
So that's definitive.
Definitely.
And
could that be just because we're a bunch of goddamn nerds that?
Yeah. But think of it this way: this is how you determine whether or not something. Yeah. This is how you determine whether or not something is a Christmas movie. You look at the plot and you remove Christmas from it. And if you take Christmas out and it still makes sense, it's not a Christmas movie. So if you take the Christmas out of Die Hard, there's no reason for John McClane to go to Los Angeles to try to reconnect with his wife. There's no reason for everybody to be there if not for the Christmas party. It doesn't make sense without Christmas. It therefore is a Christmas movie.
That's right. I mean, I was about to say, like, sure, they just get away with it because John McClane doesn't even go. But then
Exactly.
the party isn't happening if it's not Christmas, so they don't have any hostages. So maybe they don't get away with it. Oh,
Exactly.
man.
It can't happen without Christmas. It is therefore a Christmas movie. End of discussion. But for me, well, first of all, for Mrs. Nurgle, it's Home Alone. Here we are. We're on the 17th of December. She's probably already watched it 30 times.
Oh, geez.
By the time
30 years old.
Christmas, yeah. Well, as we have already determined, I'm not young. But yeah, it's 30 years old. Here recently, it had its anniversary. But by the time Christmas Day gets here, it'll probably be playing on a loop in my house. Anyway.
Are you
So,
not excited
Die Hard,
about that?
I can watch it once a year. After that, it kind of loses its luster. She can watch it on a loop. But, I married her, so I'm stuck with it. Die Hard is a good Christmas movie. For me, and it's not technically a Christmas movie, but it occurs at a Christmas time of year. The American President is always a movie I have just loved. And
I don't
there's
know
going to
that
be
one.
crickets out there because there's probably 4 people in the world besides me that know that movie. But look it up. It's a good movie. It's a fun, hopeful Christmas movie. It is not an action movie by any stretch of the imagination. It's just a nice, positive, fun movie.
Now I remember that movie. I had to look at who was in it. I couldn't remember. You consider that you're a big fan of that movie, huh?
I am I don't know why, but I always have been.
All right. I mean, Annette Bening. All right, but
That's probably why. But
yeah, she's.
We've gotten to the bottom of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yes. All right. How about you, Data?
When we're getting into the spirit, putting up the tree, putting up decorations, we always watch the Muppet Christmas Carol.
Oh, yes.
Okay, yep.
Oh, I haven't seen that in many years.
It's awesome. Great movie. And then right after that, we watch the Santa Claus.
Tim Allen, right?
Right. Yeah. Peak Tim Allen, I would say.
That's a good one. That's a
a good one.
All these movies that I'm like, that's a classic. And
So we got Elf.
when they were
That's
in the
how they
theater.
Plan at our house.
Elf, very nice.
A newer classic to me. Yeah. If we had cable, we'd be turning on the 24-hour Christmas Story stream.
Yeah, I always get on for Christmas story for sure. You'll take your eye out. Or you'll shoot
People
your
don't
eye
have
out.
cable
You'll shoot
anymore
your
these
eye
days,
out.
right? It's been so many years since I've had like any kind of TV subscription. Do people have that? People besides me? It's still important for sports, or have even sports moved on?
I have. You don't want to know how much I spend on entertainment. Let's just move on.
Plus a landline. They probably have a landline too.
Yeah, do you have one of those
Not
phones
do
that has a cord? It's a curly cord.
A rotary dial? No. No, I do not, but I still have cable. Oh. So,
Yeah, there goes Giark again. That's all right.
some of us,
hold strong, buddy. We're almost done.
some of us remember the day when we had to unplug the cable from the phone and plug it into the modem. So
In my house, we went straight from not having internet to just buying a second phone line, so we didn't have to deal with any of that crap.
yeah, we did
I
that
just
too.
remember being like 3 hours into downloading something and somebody picked up the phone in the house.
Three hours into downloading that one porn image.
Coming in line by line.
Half of Jennifer Aniston's face is showing, and then somebody picks up the phone. Damn it! Wait, never mind.
I mean, it's fine. Nothing going on here.
I'm okay.
Yeah. It's okay.
I mean, anything bad happened to the computer or it slowed down at all. Those video games, that's what causes all these problems. That's what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
those
Damn games.
those damn games. Yeah, I get that
pretty
too.
old games. But man, I remember StarCraft playing on an old dial-up connection without any issues at all.
Oh man, that dial-up hampered my StarCraft online playing because get off the game. I gotta make a phone call. I hear somebody.
Oh God! Just pause it. We can't pause. It's multiplayer.
What does multiplayer mean? Shut up.
Oh my God! Yeah, I was a StarCraft addict. That was a bad addiction. Nothing. Elite has nothing on what StarCraft was to me.
I never played that. Of course, I'm not very into RTS games. StarCraft is an RTS, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I never cared very much for that style. But X-Wing versus TIE Fighter we played online. Yeah, lots of that.
Yeah, I played all those games. But I mean, we were playing just chess online too when that was first becoming an online thing. So I love strategy games. Good stuff. So
cool.
Anything else?
Hey, that's it. Put tell us about your holiday traditions. Oh, actually, you know what? We talked briefly before we started. The next Thursday being our record night, the next Thursday is planning on being Christmas Eve. So we are definitely going to be with our families and not here recording a podcast. So we thought, what else can we do? Well, everybody seems to be available on the Wednesday there, the 23rd. So we thought rather than doing a proper podcast, we'd do something a little more community-oriented and a little more off the cuff and fun, and just have some kind of maybe group party in Discord, live stream some things, and hopefully end up with something that can be sort of released later, at least to YouTube. I don't know if the audio will be anything worthwhile to put on the podcast stream or not, but apparently last year, was it at Christmas time when we all piled up onto Ty's Corvette?
It was.
So Chig must be up, right? Should we betray Chig?
We can blow up you. No, I'll gladly take a meeting. If you guys want to.
Yeah, we'll probably all do a little bit. Maybe we'll I'll volunteer to go first, of course.
Yeah, they can blow each one of us up. We each take a turn getting our asses blown up, and maybe just small ships against one of our large ships. Yeah,
so it was. I mean, we definitely took him out with just sidewinders, and I believe engineering was not allowed, and we still took him down. So
he was taking it kind of easy on us, too.
Was he?
Yeah.
All right, let's see. So where should we go? Are we in a anarchy system yet?
Nurgle.
Oh.
I think we were about to enter one, weren't we?
No,
well, whatever. We can find the nearest one.
Load Moby is one, I think.
What do you said?
Load Moby.
I think it's Anarchy.
Okay.
So
we'll put it in events. We'll
put it in events. So I'll volunteer to go first. I'll bring something heavy to be. Maybe I'll probably my Corvette, right? And I'll try to make show of it. Y'all bring a bunch of sidewinders, and I would say probably no engineering is good, and we can always adjust if things need to be up to notch. And I'm sure this will spill over and become a bizarre free for all at some point. And I'll plan to stream, and we'll see what happens. And hopefully it'll be cool. And lots of fun, and then we'll all be together around the holidays, and that will give us some sort of podcast time off. So
I will shout out if Ty's listening and he wants to come on and hop in his Corvette, we'll gladly blow him up. I'm okay with that. That would be a true Christmas miracle.
Truly. All right. I think I need a cheese. I'm feeling cheesy.
All right. I am going to stick with just kind of a Christmassy kind of thing. I know that there's not really like a Christmas cheese. So I'm going to go with something that is really good to have with Christmas dinner. I'm going to go with cheesecake this time. I've never gone down like a cheesy dessert kind of thing. So I'm just going to go cheesecake. Everybody's favorite decadent dessert that'll put 5 pounds on you after you've finished a big meal, usually made out of cream cheese or ricotta. And it's just, it is decadent. Everybody loves cheesecake, I believe. So I'm going with that. Eat as much cheesecake as you can, and then before the end of the new year, so you have some pounds to take off, because I know we're all fit and trim, after this amazing active year we've had. Stay tuned, everybody.
Stay cheesy. All that's left then is for me to thank the world and the universe for listening. Thank my co-hosts, Chig, Nurgle, Data. Thank you all for discussing all this nonsense with me. Everyone listening should be sure, if you have not already, go check out the website loosescrewsed.com, where there is a merch store. And, mugs and hoodies and stuff. Make a great gift for yourself. Oh, what?
I didn't do a cheese joke. I forgot my
cheese
advent
joke.
calendar. So we need a super bad cheese joke. What did the mouse say when he snatched the cheese without getting caught in the trap? Cheddar luck next time. I laugh so loud every time I peel those off and read them. My wife is like, you need help.
Oh my God, that's awful. That's awful. All right. Hey, well, thanks everyone. Come join us in Discord and check out the merch store, and we'll see you guys next Wednesday. Come join us for some royally good Christmas fun.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Stay loose, stay screwy, and
Bye.
have fun. Later.